What's up everybody, Greg here with LensProToGo and Lens Rentals, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at a brand new light from Fiilex, the Q8 Travel. As a lot of companies are jumping on the train of making LED mats and panels, Fiilex is going in the opposite direction, sticking with their classic design and creating one of the best point source LED Fresnels on the market. This light from the outside doesn't look too different from some of Fiilex's other models like the Q500 and Q1000. But what is pretty noticeable is the massive 8-inch Fresnel on the front of this light, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Just to do a quick overview, if you haven't used a Fiilex light before, on the back there's a really nice, easy to use interface with a giant LCD screen that has all of your information on it. You have 3 knobs, one for your color temperature, so going from 2800 all the way up to 6500 Kelvin. You have a hue adjustment, so for your green and magenta shift. This is really great if you're working in like office scenes or in hospitals where they have those really nasty Fresnel overhead lights. And then last one is your power, output, or intensity, whatever you want to call it. And this basically just gives you the option to dim down your light or brighten it up however you need. Right below all of this, there's also a couple ports for DMX and linking these lights together. This is really great if you're trying to do more permanent style installations or you're getting them up and you're rigging them out of the way and you're going to control them all through a board or some sort of control area. There's 2 things that really set the Q8 Travel apart from the rest of Fiilex's line. For one is the improved durability. They've added a lot of small little adjustments here and there to make this as reliable and durable as possible. There's some more noticeable rubber bumpers on the light, similar to the Matrix, and this helps with some of the drops and bumps that might happen to the fixture. They have a new reinforced cable going into the ballast, which is IP67 rated. This means it's completely sealed off from all dust and dirt, and it's also submergible up to 1 meter. Now, I wouldn't suggest going and taking this and throwing it into a puddle while it's plugged into a wall, but if you're on set and it starts to rain, you're not going to have any issues with the ballast. The light itself is IP24 rated, so this means you get some really good protection from splashing of water or any sort of rain that's coming onto it. It doesn't have as good of dust protection because it has to have some pretty big vents for all the heat dissipation and cooling. The other really big thing that sets this light apart from the rest, like I mentioned before, is that giant 8-inch Fresnel and also the configuration of the LED chips inside of the light. Fiilex has customized the LED chip inside the light and this Fresnel to work perfectly together so you get some really impressive results. The LEDs use a dense matrix configuration, and what this does is basically combine them as close together as possible. Because these are a bicolor light, there's 2 different colored LEDs in here, and when you get them as close as possible, you get much less color fringing on the sides, and it also keeps the light source as small as possible, so you get some really good control with how you want to shape the light. So if you want to use a cookie to get some extra texture, or you want to shoot through the blinds of a window to really get that shape on your subject, then you can do that with this light. Pair this LED setup with the 8-inch Fresnel that has a crazy zoom range, 60 degrees at its widest, which most comparable ones are only around 50, and then all the way down to a 12-degree beam angle. That gets you a ton of flexibility of where you can be using this light. Spotted into 12 degrees, you get a super consistent beam across the whole frame. You don't get a hot spot right in the center like you do with some other Fresnels, and you get a much shallower fall off on the edges. There's not a ton of light spilling out all over the place. So this is really great to be able to control that light and shape it how you want it. 2 more little things that they've added in with this model of the light is a fine-tuned dimming, and this allows you to really finely adjust your dim mode so you can get just a 0.1% on if you want. This means you're going to get a lot more control of the output of the light, and you're not going to get any flickering when you're trying to dim it up and down. This is a nice little detail that can come in handy when you're trying to do some sort of lighting gag where you need it to be completely dark and then you need to dim up the light or dim down the light in the shot. It's going to be totally usable, and you're not going to have that flickering or drop off of the low end, which you see with a lot of other lights out there. The other thing that they've done is change the input power to a 3-pin XLR. Now, I've seen a ton of people talking and sort of complaining about this online, and I'm not exactly sure why. They're saying it's to cut costs, but even some manufacturers like Ari are using it for their Sky panel, so I don't think that's the reason. I personally really like having a 3-pin XLR option because now I can take some cables that I already have, which might be for my audio setup, and if I need to extend the light and get it a little bit further away or add that extension in, I already have those cables and I don't need to buy something separate. If you want to learn more about the Fiilex Q8 Travel or try it out for yourself, make sure to head on over to LensProToGo or LensRentals.com. I'll throw links to all of that in the description. Let me know what you guys think about this light in the comments below. Let's start a discussion, ask any questions that you have, And if you guys want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for new videos every single week, and I'll see you in the next one.